As we wrap up this series, I want to make this very important video where I talk to you about a key strategy that you need to employ as you plan to leave a toxic or abusive relationship. Now, a lot of times people end up, staying longer than they anticipate or envisage. Why? Because they lack muscle. I'm not talking about physical like your body. I'm talking about financial muscle. If you lack financial empowerment, it is more than likely that you're going to stay. And of course, facts, statistics even show that one of the reasons that victims of abuse stay in domestic violence situations, whether organizational or even interpersonal, is because they lack financial independence. And so you need to start thinking about where the money will start coming from. How would you take care of yourself? How would you feed? How would you be able to support the children if there are kids involved? And so here I will this is going to be a little long. This video will be a little long, but I'm going to break down some of the things that you can do as you plan to leave and as you work on building a financial plan for yourself when you're leaving. One of the things that you can do is to ask yourself, what is your biggest goal? Are you looking to be in the academia, right? Is it your desire to be a professor? Is it your desire to be a business owner? Is it your desire to own a non-profit? Okay, so you need to begin to channel that pain somewhere. And if you find something that you're able to channel your pain towards, guess what? If you're strategic about it, that can even be your money spinning machine. We're building ideaforyou.com because that is a result of my pain. And I'm building that brand, that digital brand, as a survivor for other survivors. And so with the Idea For You brand, I am looking to have digital hub where survivors can learn digital skills and make money with their digital skills. Within the Idea For You company, we're also looking to help survivors who want to go study abroad or to, access funding, grants, scholarships, and, assistantship opportunities. We are doing that with the Idea For You brand. Think about the fact that you might not even be interested in, money in digital business or becoming a professor or doing research. Perhaps you're interested in building a nonprofit or a social enterprise yourself as a result of your pain, right? Idea For You also has the resources to support you in doing that, meaning we can also walk you through building a nonprofit from scratch for other survivors, because the truth is we need more people doing this kind of work so that we can at least reduce to the barest minimum domestic violence and abuse, and of course narcissistic abuse itself. So what I'm saying to you in essence is, as you work on leaving a toxic partner or abusive relationship, you need to also design a killer or an important plan, which is a killer plan or an important plan, which is the financial muscle, right? For me, I'll share with you a little about my journey. When I knew that my relationship with my ex-husband was no longer working, one of the things that I did was to start building my digital brand. It was a very painful time in my life, and I was channeling my energy towards building my brand, applying to schools abroad, and also building a non-profit. Now, it wasn't easy, but because I knew in my head, even though I was still doubting myself, I knew I wanted to leave. And because I knew I was going to leave, it was easy for me to focus on planning. And you need to get to that point where while you're planning to leave, be more prudent. Be financially proactive. Take the jobs that come your way. Those menial jobs, those jobs that do not really fit into where you're going to, might actually be the opportunities that will serve as the stepping stone to your greatness. I'll give you an example. Personally, I knew I wanted more from life. I knew I wanted to, build a digital brand, study abroad, make money, build non-profit, make impact. But of course, I needed to start where I was. And starting where I was meant working at a Catholic seminary, a secondary school for a first-class graduate from the University of Ibadan. I had to take the job. I was just being paid $30,000, about $100 a month. Think about it. And guess what? I was able to save up and put some money together to apply to schools abroad. I was able to succeed with my applications. I got a scholarship and I was able to come abroad. I'm saying this because some people are just confused and saying to themselves, where do I start from? Starting means you start from where you are. Starting means you actually take the pain to do the dirty things or to do the things that are demeaning so that you can have the resources to at least get the big breaks or the opportunities you need. Perhaps you even just need a phone and a tripod stand and a light stand right now to start your digital brand. You might have to go work at a construction site for a week, at least to get the money to start. Because when you have the money and you start, it helps. Because you're able to start put your message out there, and you begin to build the brand gradually. I don't know if all I'm saying makes sense to you, but you need to start from where you are. Now, when you begin to build the brand and you start to make the money, you must not let go of the plan. Do not forget that your plan is to live, not to stay. But if you forget that the plan is to live because you now have temporary relief, guess what? This person might be able to, still use the same old strategy on you and bring you back to the same using trauma bond, overing and suck you back in like a vacuum cleaner was sucking dirt, and you will go back to frying pan. You go back to the very beginning. And guess what? That brand that you're building, it will just go down. And I'm not cursing. I'm being realistic with you, because it takes a lot of emotions when you're in a relationship with a toxic partner. They drain you. They drain your glory. They drain your productivity. They drain your spirits. And you don't want that. You do not want that. Now, as I wrap up as well, I wanted to also share a very important point here, which is that, is it possible to wipe out all the narcissistic people in the world? Or is it everyone that is narcissistic? Far from it. And of course, in another video on Sunday, I guess Sunday Sunday the 3rd of July, I guess, I would be sharing with you a live session where I am talking basically about perhaps I can even just talk to you about it now, and then we kick off something else from July. So what I meant to share with you before for later, which I'm also sharing in this video, is the fact that is it possible that everyone out there is narcissistic, or can we wipe narcissistic people away from this earth? Far from it. We cannot wipe narcissistic people away from this earth, because you can only change you can't change the other person. And so while we cannot wipe them all out, I want you to also know that you would do life with narcissistic people. But one thing is, you should not spend the rest of your life with a narcissistic partner. But you can have a narcissistic boss, and you can have narcissistic co-workers, you can have narcissistic acquaintances. But one thing you need to learn is, do not bring into your close circle narcissistic people. For instance, your best friend does not have to be a narcissist. You can choose. Your husband or partner does not have, or wife or intimate other does not have to be a narcissist, because you can choose. You can choose the people you are in class with, or you're studying with in grad school, or working with, or that would become even your customers. You cannot choose them. You can't really decide that. But of course, you can control the kind of people you do business with. You can control the number of interaction or number of times that you interact with narcissistic people. Now, let me also share this icebreaker perhaps with you. We actually need narcissistic people. And here is why. As a business owner, you need narcissistic people to build your brand. I mean, narcissistic employees, okay, or as a manager of a firm or an organization or CEO, you need narcissistic employees, because narcissistic people are charming, they are goal getters, they are motivated by result, they are result driven. And so when you have narcissistic people in your team, they are the ones who help you attract new customers, help you make quick sales, because they want you to praise them, they want to feel good. And if you're that employer who is able to make a narcissistic staff feel good, you have them and they will stay for as long as you keep making them feel good, right? Now, you also need the staff members who are not narcissistic, because they have good behavior, they are codependent in nature, and they are empathetic and to a fault. So while the narcissistic people might help your brand to attract customers, to help make immediate sales, the codependence or the empath within your organization can help you keep your customers, keep your clientele, build lasting rapport or sustainable relationships with your clients, okay? And that is the difference between the narcissistic staff and the codependent staff. Actually, you need both of these people to have an organization that would stand the test of time. Maybe in another series, when we're doing the business series, I'm going to share more about the strategies you can employ when working or when you have narcissistic staff or clients and all of that. That will be at a later date. The other thing I want to share with you is, while we cannot take narcissistic people out of this world, they actually still add color to our world, because every human being has a peculiarity. But one thing we need to you and I can begin to work on is to identify the red flags. The red flags, the flying monkeys, the hoovering, the gaslighting, and all the other red flags. When we identify these different red flags, guess what? It makes it easy for us to thrive without allowing narcissistic people mess with our mental health. And as a matter of fact, once you know them, you're able to manage them if you cannot throw them away. But of course, do not let a narcissistic person steal your heart, because I mean, that might be deadly, except if you are a narcissist yourself and you're able to cope. But of course, I need to also mention that if you're a narcissistic person, you are not a terrible human being. You are worthy of love. You're worthy of acceptance. You're worthy to be a good person. And you need to acknowledge the fact that you have faults, you have weaknesses, and you need to take care of yourself. When you acknowledge that you are shortcomings that need to be improved on, you can begin to take the practical steps to working on yourself and becoming a better person. But if you do not do that, if you do not begin to take the steps, how then do you heal from narcissism? How? It is when you heal that you can start live a meaningful life. Because it is possible for people who are narcissistic to become empathetic as a result of healing, as a result of a personal decision to become a better person. So if you're watching or you've been following me and you feel like, oh, BM has been casting narcissist, she hates narcissists, I do not. I'm basically trying to educate the vulnerable people, because the empaths are usually the very vulnerable ones, and I do not want empaths like me to have to go through what I've had to go through. And I know that there are different kinds of narcissists. The repentant ones are out there, and if you're willing to repent, one of the things you can start to do is to look at all the series, look at everything that I've shared in this past series, and acknowledge that you are one or two or whatever it is that you are in all of this series, and develop a plan to heal, to break free, because a narcissist is also a product of the society, a product of trauma, of whatever it is they have suffered in their childhood. And I want you to know that you can become a great person, and it's a personality disorder, and if you tell yourself you can work on it, it can go away. I hope that you have gotten immense value today. I want to work with you and I want to support you. And the place to start is to go to my website. Simply visit bisolamiriam.com/coaching. I look forward to working with you. I have a number of programs. You can look at my curriculum and choose what really is your need, and I can work with you alongside 10 plus coaches from Africa and other parts of the world. I look forward to talking to you soon. Abundance is here. There is no lack. Talk later. Bye.